to another video. I do hope you are all well. Today I am going to be going through my England 11 if England make it to the European Championship final. The reason I'm doing that is because our teams will be different through the tournament. And if we get to the final, which I don't think we will, I think we can. I think our squad's good enough to get there. I just don't think Southgate's a good enough manager to get us there. Our team in the final has to be the best team we can possibly put out, because we're not going to be playing in Albania. Maybe we will. I highly doubt it though. Something tells me Albania aren't getting to the final. So it's going to be a Germany, a Spain, a France. It's going to be a big team, and therefore we need our best team. So I am going to be going through 11 players that I think should start the European Championship final if we get there. Starting in net, you're starting in goal. Now, I think, listen, between fans, I think this is probably the most discussed area of the pitch. Between Gareth Southgate and his backroom staff, I doubt it's spoken about at all. It's going to be Jordan Pickford. It shouldn't be Jordan Pickford, but it's going to be Jordan Pickford. I've got stats up here, guys. I just want to go through a few interesting things I've picked up on. Now, if you watch Everton, Jordan Pickford is not a fan of catching the ball. He's just not. And I think that's made very clear by this season. 21 punches. He just loves punching the ball, and I don't get it. And we saw it from Alisson during the week. So many times he has chances. And Pickford here, he has so many chances to catch the ball so easily, unchallenged, and he just decides to punch it. And I think it's so pointless. I remember Liverpool-Tottenham. I think it was Karius in net, and he could have just easily caught the ball, and he punched it, and I think it was Sissoko hit the shot of his life. I don't like it when keepers punch the ball when they can catch it. Listen, if they're not going to be able to catch it and then they punch it, I can deal with it. But the amount of times he can easily catch it and he just absolutely lays into it with his fist. And you compare that to Nick Pope, only punched it 7 times. And again, this is what I mean. High claims. Jordan Pickford's so dodgy when that ball gets crossed into the box. He doesn't like coming for it. And very clearly you can see if he does, he punches it. High claims 9 compared to Nick Pope's 22. Just so much better. In terms of sweeper clearances as well, which I think Nick Pope is one of his biggest assets. I think he's a brilliant sweeper keeper. I think he's what he's best at. Jordan Pickford's got 6. Nick Pope's got 26. And people will say that Everton maybe have got a better defence in terms of the 2 centre-backs. This season, I think you could agree, because I think Ben Godfrey's been excellent. I'll let you argue that out between yourself, but I think we need Nick Pope in. The sweeper clearances, especially stands out, especially with, if we've got Harry Maguire in defence, he isn't the quickest. You need a keeper who's going to be off their line as quick as they can, and Nick Pope does that brilliantly. 9 clean sheets for Nick Pope this season, 6 for Jordan Pickford. Again, just Nick Pope's better in that aspect. You look at goals conceded, 32 for Nick Pope compared to 29 for Jordan Pickford, so not much in that really. There's not really much to say to that one. There's also something else that interests me. So, in football these days, you need a keeper who is good with their feet. That's what most managers are looking for these days. You see it with Edison and you see it with Alisson. They're both brilliant with the ball at their feet. Accurate long balls for Jordan Pickford are 187. 246 for Nick Pope. There's such a big difference there. And yeah, I know it's not the be-all and end-all for for keepers to be good with the feet, but it helps massively. And you can very clearly see here, Nick Pope's just. I think he's just a better keeper, guys, and I think these stats just go to show that. Moving on to left back, Luke Shaw. It has to be Luke Shaw. I don't think there's been a better left back in the league this season. I don't. Listen, Robbo's not had the best of seasons to his high standards, even though I'd probably say he's been one of Liverpool's best players. But to his standards that he's set, he hasn't been anywhere near as good. Luke Shaw has just been reinvigorated at Manchester United, and I think he deserves the place. You know, there's Chilwell, who under Lampard seemed to constantly play for Chelsea, and then Tuchel's come in and just picked Marcos Alonso, and he's not getting into the squad. And then there's Cresswell, who, for me, if it wasn't Shaw, it'd be Cresswell, because I think he's been outstanding this season. I really do like Cresswell. I think his delivery into the box is phenomenal. But for me, it's Luke Shaw. It's centre-backs. I think these two pick themselves, really. It's Harry Maguire and it's John Stones. And he's definitely John Stones. It's set in stone that he's John Stones. And it is Harry Maguire. But I don't want it to be Harry Maguire. Listen, if Joe Gomez was fit, Joe Gomez was playing, my centre-back partnership would be Joe Gomez and it would be John Stones. At this moment in time, though, it has to be Harry Maguire. I don't think he's good enough for it. He moves like a bus. He's so slow. I don't think he reads the game that well. But he's a good leader. And he's all we've got. I think he's better than Conor Cody at the moment. I don't think he's having a very good season. Ben Godfrey's a shout. I think he's been outstanding this season. So I was shocked that he wasn't in Southgate's squad. Tyrone Mings has a good season as well. But yeah, I'm going to go with Maguire. I do think he's just a little bit better than the others. Moving on to the right back position. Now, this position for England is just so stacked. And by the way, guys, if you see me looking down, I'm not looking at the camera. It's because I've got the laptop on my knee. The right back position for England is so stacked. You know, you've got the likes of Trent, Kyle Walker, Reece James, Tariq Lamptey, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You've even got, Luke Ayling, Matty Cash at Aston Villa's playing really well as well. It's such a stacked position. However, for me, it's between two, and it's between Trent Alexander-Arnold and it's between Kyle Walker. I believe they are our best fullbacks. Reece James has had a brilliant season for Chelsea. There's no denying that. And he was very close to pipping Trent. And people will say I'm biased because I'm a Liverpool fan, but we all know how good Trent can be. And when Trent's on his day, there isn't many right backs in the world that are better than him. However, saying that, everyone in football knows that Trent Alexander-Arnold is phenomenal going forward. Defensively, he's a worry. He is a worry. I think the stats are so... I've got the stats up. Listen, I don't think the stats in this are important. And it's because, on paper, Trent looks like a better defender. Guys, if you go on the Premier League website and just load them up next to each other, get Trent's page up, get Kyle Walker's page up, and just look at the defensive stats. They're not too similar, but I do think Trent, they are just a little bit better. However, I do think it's a little bit misleading because the problem you have with Trent is because of how forward he gets. He's so constantly out of position. It happens so often. And listen, I don't think he's been helped by the fact that Liverpool's midfield hasn't been the same. He hasn't been able to get forward and then have that cover there. He's been having to get forward and then get back instantly. but he's not. He didn't adapt his game quick enough. He was getting forward way too much, and he's out of position so often. Now with Kyle Walker, I also think Kyle Walker does sometimes. He is out of position. The amount of times I've watched him and I'm just like, where is he? However, the difference is Kyle Walker has the pace to make it up. There isn't many people faster than him in world football. He's so quick. That burst of acceleration from nowhere. And that's the reason I'm going to pick Kyle Walker. And especially because listen, I don't know what sides the centre backs will play on. Either centre back isn't quick. They're not quick. And if we're playing a France in a final, we're going to need pace at the back, and Kyle Walker gives us that. So that's why I picked Kyle Walker. Moving on to the midfield, I think this is pretty easy. By the way, guys, I should say what formation I've decided. 4-2-3-1. Now, is it going to be that? No. There is not a chance Gareth Southgate picks that. I don't think Gareth Southgate will even pick anything with a number 4 in it. He's that mad. He'll play a 3-17-2. Yeah. He'll play something stupid. I know you can't play that formation. It doesn't exist. I made it up. He'll play something fucking stupid. But this is what I think we should play, so I'm going for it. Midfield 2, Declan Rice, because he's deserved it more than anyone this season. He's been brilliant for West Ham. He's been absolutely brilliant. I don't think West Ham would be where they are without him. I think he's a brilliant player. If you'd have asked me a year ago, does Declan Rice get into this England team, I'll be the first player to say no. Player? I'm not a player. I'll be the first person to say no. But like a lot of other England players in this squad, he's just come out of nowhere, and just the form he's in, he never seems to have a bad game. He always seems to play really well, so that's why I've gone with Declan Rice. And alongside him, Eric Dyer. No, I'm joking. Definitely not Eric Dyer. It's Jordan Henderson, it has to be. For me, he's the first name on the team sheet. He's a brilliant leader. His pass is so underrated that he can just pick a pass from anywhere on the pitch. You saw that's what. Listen, when he plays in centre back for Liverpool, we do miss him, but it's what you benefit from just having him at the back. The balls he can spray along, it just honestly they are spectacular, and he's got a brilliant eye for a pass. And the reason I put Declan Rice and Jordan Henderson though, so 2 holding midfielders, is because if we're playing a France, a Germany, like I've said, if we're against Gundogan, Kimmich, or Rabiot, Kante, Pogba, you need to central defending midfielders, or otherwise you're just going to get outran, especially with the likes of Kante, who doesn't stop running. You will just end up getting bullied. So I think them 2 sitting in front of that defence would be brilliant. Going to the front 3, and then obviously there's a striker as well. On the left-hand side, going with Marcus Rashford. Have I? No, yeah, no, I have. I've gone with Marcus Rashford. I think he's been really good for Manchester United this season. Don't think he's been as good as he can be. We all know how good Marcus Rashford can be. He's good at football. He's good at feeding kids. What's not to like? He's just a brilliant man. 9 goals this season, 7 assists. Yeah, I just think he's the best in that position. I don't think Raheem Sterling's having a very good season. Yeah, Marcus Rashford there in the middle. Now, again, this is a position where you could play anyone. Obviously, there's Mason Mount. There's even Jesse Lingard's having a brilliant time at the moment. But I have gone with, if you watch my Gareth Southgate video where I said I think he should be sacked, I don't think he should be England manager, you will know that I love this player. It's Jack Grealish. Behind the striker. I think Jack Grealish is a phenomenal football player. And what I've done, I just want to bring something to attention because I think it's unbelievable, and I don't think he gets the credit he does. Now, most people would agree Kevin De Bruyne is the best football player in the league, if not one of the best. Now, I've got them up side by side here. So, Jack Grealish, 6 goals. Kevin De Bruyne, 5. Jack Grealish, 10 assists. Kevin De Bruyne, 11 assists. Big chances created for Kevin De Bruyne is 16. Big chances created for Jack Grealish is 14. Now, if you go a bit further down, big chances missed by Jack Grealish is 4. Big chances missed by Kevin De Bruyne is 8. Listen, I'm not saying at all that Jack Grealish is a better football player than Kevin De Bruyne. Not, please don't take that out of context. That isn't what I'm saying. But he's created 2 less big chances, and he's playing for Aston Villa. And I think that's what needs to be noticed, man. Kevin De Bruyne has got so many amazing players around him. Listen, Jack Grealish has got good players around him as well, but nothing on the level of Manchester City. And I think that's just unbelievable how similar his stats are to one of the players that everyone classes to be the best player in the league. Out of his 6 goals as well for Jack Grealish this season, none of them are penalties, whereas 2 penalties were scored by Kevin De Bruyne. By the way, guys, these are all just Premier League stats, so I'm not taking into account the FA Cup, the Papa John's Cup, the Carling Cup, whatever the fuck it's called these days. Pizza Hut Cup, what is it called? It's had so many bloody sponsors. So yeah, it is just Premier League. So if you take them 2 penalties away from De Bruyne, he's only scored 3 open play goals. 24 shots on target from Kevin De Bruyne. 32% shot accuracy, with Jack Grealish having a 38% shot accuracy. None of them really that good. Kevin De Bruyne's played 1 more game as well than Jack Grealish. I think he's just a phenomenal football player, and the way he beats a man, he does it so comfortably. It's not like so Pepe for Arsenal. Pepe will do a million step overs and then make the defender dizzy and go past them, or make himself dizzy. He does that many. Jack Grealish just drops the shoulder and just glides. It's like he's on ice and he's just skating. He seems so easy for him. Playing football seems so easy for him, and I just don't think there's any player better than him at the moment to go in that position. Moving on to the right hand side, I can't believe I'm going to say this player, because again, a year ago I'd have probably said he was in the England squad, maybe just, but I'd have never said he was a starter in a final. But in every single competition this year, Rio Ferdinand said it on BT Sport in the middle of the week, this man has played himself into contention. And for me, he's played himself into the team. It's Phil Foden. I don't fully know how we can overlook him. I really don't. He's 12 goals this season. Oh, not 12 goals this season, sorry. That's all time. 6 goals this season, 5 assists for such a young lad as well. 22 appearances. He deserves it. He's got 46% shot accuracy, so it's not too bad. But the one thing I picked up on the most is tackle success, which is 70%. Now, for a centre attacking midfielder, a number 10, which I think is his best position, that's unbelievable. And England need to press like mad. He's such an important part of the game, and he does it really well for such a small player as well. The fact that he's got 70% tackle success, I think is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he's just such a good young player, and I think he's played his way into contention. I think he deserves it more than anyone. Moving up top. Now then, this is a tough one. It is really a tough one. The player I decided to go with, I think it has to be Danny Ings. Yeah, I've gone with Danny Ings. Have I? Heck, I'm joking. Of course, I've gone with Harry Kane. Everyone's gone with Harry Kane. There's no one not going with Harry Kane. There's no one better than Harry Kane. How many times am I going to say Harry Kane? I've picked Harry Kane. He's been phenomenal this season. He's just played out of his skin. Saying that against Dynamo Zagreb, he was pretty wank. But overall, this season in the Premier League, he's been phenomenal. 16 goals, and the thing that stands out: 13 assists, 14 big chances created. Yeah, just brilliant from Harry Kane. We all know how good he is. Yeah, I think that just goes to prove. So, there isn't much to say on Harry Kane. I mean, we all know how good he is. And the way he drops in for Tottenham, that's why he's getting so many assists, because he's got this new role. We say new role, it isn't that new. We've seen him do it more. We have seen him. We've seen him do it for England before he did it for Tottenham this season. It's just this season he's doing really well with it. So yeah, Harry Kane goes up top. I don't think anyone can argue against that fact, really. Listen, there's some positions people will disagree. I fully understand that. Where I'm playing Phil Foden on the right hand side, there are, of course, there are other options. The reason I went with him, I think he's been just a little bit better than Mason Mount this season. Obviously, we know there's Jadon Sancho, who's a phenomenal football player. I just haven't seen enough of him to be able to pick him for my team. Next to Marcus Rashford, obviously there's Harvey Barnes, there's Raheem Sterling as well. But again, I don't think he's had a good enough season. So my team, just to clear it up: Nick Pope in goal, Luke Shaw left back, Harry Maguire and John Stones, Kyle Walker. Am I going to change this now? Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, we've said it. We're sticking with it. 2 DMs. We're going Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson. Left side, Marcus Rashford. Down the middle, Jack Grealish. On the right, Phil Foden. And up top, Harry Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a spoiler, so turn off now if you don't want to see it. With that team, England will win the European Championships. Said it here. Said it right here. So please come back to this video. Make me go viral when England win the championship. Please. It's not going to happen. We won't win it, and he definitely won't play this squad. He won't listen to me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for the support on the video yesterday. My reaction to the Champions League draw. Please feel free to go and check out all my other videos. Press that subscribe button, drop a like, let me know your England 11 in the comments, and I will see you later.